Good evening, everyone. This is Mellissa Thomas with Florida National News, coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Thursday, May 28th, 2020. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We appreciate you. And as usual, we like to bring you the global numbers for COVID-19, as well as US and the state of Florida. So, starting with the global numbers by the World Health Organization, we're looking at approaching 5.6 million confirmed cases and over 353,000 confirmed deaths. According to, in the US, we decided to tap into the Johns Hopkins University data. The CDC is still updating theirs, but according to Johns Hopkins, we're at over 1.7 million confirmed cases. And of course, we have crossed the 100,000 death mark. Now, in the state of Florida, according to the Florida Department of Health's dashboard, we are currently at over 53,000 confirmed cases and over 2,360 confirmed deaths. Now, jumping into our world story, which is a very concerning one, Latin America, that region has now become the new epicenter for COVID-19 cases. As of right now, Latin America has passed the US and Europe in the number of new daily confirmed cases. Dr. Carissa Etienne, who's the director of the Pan American Health Organization, she is reporting that Latin America region has 2.4 million confirmed cases, and they're seeing over 143,000 confirmed deaths in the region. Now, as you heard us report earlier this week, Brazil is now number 2 in the world for total coronavirus cases. And as right now, they're 5th in the world for total coronavirus deaths. Right now, their number of deaths is close to 24,000. And Chile and Peru have seen a recent spike in cases. Right now, they're the highest per capita right now. They're the highest in number of new cases per capita. So new cases per 100,000 people. As of right now, Chile is seeing approaching 78,000 confirmed cases, and Peru is approaching 130,000 confirmed cases there. Now, Dr. Etienne has been urging Latin American nations that are seeing recent peaks now to stay strong and stay safe, especially now. Don't try to reopen. Public safety is the priority right now, especially as the rest of the world is reopening. But we'll continue to keep you guys posted. Watch this space for updates. Now, jumping over here to the US, speaking of reopening, Chicago has released its reopening plan. Mayor Lori Lightfoot over there, she released a 13-page plan for Chicago's reopening, particularly as it relates to restaurants. So as of right now in the city of Chicago, restaurants will need to distance their tables 6 feet apart, or at the very least, post some kind of barrier between the tables, such as plexiglass, just to enforce social distancing while people are eating. They have a limit of 6 people per table. Folks will have to wear masks when they attend, and the only time they can remove the mask is while they're eating, of course. But every other time, they have to make sure that they are covered to slow and stop the spread of COVID-19 in that area. According to Mayor Lightfoot, outdoor dining will begin on June 10th. So again, we'll continue to keep you guys posted where that's concerned. Your second bit of US news, as you likely heard yesterday afternoon, as you were waiting with bated breath, the SpaceX rocket launch with the 2 NASA astronauts was postponed. They scrubbed it close to the last minute at 4:17 p.m. Eastern time. They got that last weather update and it was not conducive to launch. So they scrubbed it, and they, according to the NASA spokesperson, they have made Saturday and Sunday launch windows available. So as of right now, the next official launch time is Saturday at 3:22 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll keep you guys posted with updates on that as well. Of course, all the dignitaries were ready for the launch, both President and First Lady Trump, Vice President and Second Lady Pence, and of course, Elon Musk, who is the head of SpaceX. But Trump tweeted that he's looking forward to seeing SpaceX and NASA again on Saturday. So a bit of good news there. Now, we wanted to open up the audience question to you guys before we jump to a commercial break. We wanted to find out, how are things going with you in terms of the reopening process as the world begins to reopen, wherever you are, here in the US, overseas? How's the reopening process for you? What are you doing? What are you seeing out in the public space as you venture out? Are you someone who has been itching to venture out and you went out as soon as you were able to? Or are you someone who's a little more cautious and you're still staying home, still choosing to remain as distant as possible? We love to hear from you. We love to share your stories with our audience as well. So if you share it during the commercial break, we'll be glad to read your comments as well. But we're going to take this break and come back with your Florida stories.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my honey's clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin clean.
The kid does have a
That's
point.
My honey's clean.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you for continuing to tune in with us. Now, on to your Florida stories. Story number one, you heard us talk about the possibility of President Trump moving the RNC from North Carolina, and several states jumped up and said, yes, we're available. So several Florida officials made that very aware to the president, like, hey, Florida is a place where you can come. However, if you're looking for a location, Tampa is not going to be one of them. The two mayors in that area, Tampa Mayor Jane Castor and St. Pete Mayor Rick Kreisman, they both said no. The spokesperson for Jane Castor said it would be, quote, irresponsible to try to plan for the Republican National Convention at this point. And she made sure to point out that particularly at this point, June 1st is right around the corner. You heard us talk about hurricane season beginning pretty much this next week, June 1st. She mentioned that, Florida is now in the process of preparing for hurricane season. So citizens are more concerned for that, as well as city officials. They want to make sure to keep their constituents safe. However, also, she mentioned that Tampa really is in the process of preparing for Super Bowl 55 as well, which takes place in February next year. So, of course, that's top of mind for them in terms of larger scale events. So she mentioned an event of that scale is kind of irresponsible within the tight window because, of course, the RNC is supposed to take place towards the end of August in Charlotte, if remains as scheduled. So very interesting take on that. For his part, Mayor Kreisman mentioned, this is something that he doesn't see happening within that tight window. And former Mayor Bob Buckhorn, he mentioned that he also agrees that this is something that cannot happen in a tight window because he was actually the Tampa mayor when the RNC came in 2012 to Tampa. And he mentioned that it took about 2 years between the Tampa and the federal government to plan out the RNC because, of course, it is a national and in some cases global event as well. And it took tens of millions of dollars, logistically speaking, to get an event like that ready. So he mentioned that even with his experience, this isn't something that could happen. Now, on the other hand, Jacksonville Mayor Lenny Curry is saying we would be honored to host the RNC. So we'll see how things go. Of course, as we mentioned yesterday, President Trump was saying he doesn't want to move the RNC out of Charlotte, but he said if there is no guarantee from the North Carolina governor, then he's threatening to pull it out of North Carolina. Stay tuned and we'll continue to keep you posted there. Now, for our other Florida story, Walt Disney has now announced its proposed reopening plan. Walt Disney World Resorts, they sent their reopening plan to the Orange County Economic Recovery Task Force. Mayor Demings has already approved their plan, but they're going to stagger their opening phases, of course. They're going to open 2 of their parks first and the latter 2 a little bit later. So here's how it breaks down. Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are going to reopen July 11th, according to the plan. Epcot and Hollywood Studios would open on July 15th. There are updated safety precautions, so all guests and all employees are going to have temperature checks upon entrance to any of the parks. All employees and guests have to wear masks, and social distancing will be enforced by a social distancing squad, which will be comprised of Disney employees. Now, what also is going to happen to enforce social distancing is Disney is suspending the typical crowd gathering activities. So any parades, fireworks, and character meet and greets, those are suspended for right now because they want to make sure that social distancing is enforced and safety is of the utmost. Now, for their hotel properties, they're going to stagger those as well. So the Disney Vacation Club properties and the Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, those are going to reopen on June 22nd. All of the other hotels and resorts will reopen on July 11th when the park begins to reopen. Now, that does it for the Florida stories. We're going to take another quick commercial break and be right back with your business and sports.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Now for the business story of the day, another airline is having to make some cuts. American Airlines is saying that it will be slashing its management and administrative and support staff by 30%. This is, of course, in response to the dramatic loss of revenue as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown that was necessary. Now, as of right now, they're going to offer voluntary options, but they will soon enact involuntary reductions. And as they continue to monitor their numbers, they'll see what's going on with that. However, they'll also reduce their frontline staff if necessary as well. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated. Now, jumping over to sports, a bit of fun news. Hard Rock Stadium is going to become a drive-in theater, courtesy of the Miami Dolphins. They've decided to open up their home to South Floridians that want to get out of their homes. They're going to be sharing content such as the classic Miami Dolphins content from the team's 54-year history. So for any sports fans out there that love to get out and watch something like that on the big screen as opposed to watching it at home, they'll also offer classic motion picture films, and they've even offered to host commencement ceremonies. So for those who want to graduate and kind of didn't feel like it was fair to have to do it virtually, the Hard Rock Stadium is actually offering their premises as a place to be able to host a ceremony. The space for the drive-in will hold up to 230 cars, so it's meant to accommodate small groups, and the open-air theater will be located on the South Plaza of the stadium complex. Now, with all this good news in mind, right now, they don't have an opening date yet, but we'll continue to keep you guys posted. We'll let you guys know when that opening date is official so you guys can get started that are down in South Florida. All right. Now, jumping over to our entertainment, we're going to take this quick commercial break and come back with our lovely Jamesia Staudemeyer from Los Angeles.
We wanted to move back home to be closer to his family. We decided to go with pods because things were stressful enough.
We weren't sure how long we were going to need storage for, so we needed something that was flexible, and then they can deliver the container to wherever we move to.
We haven't found the perfect house yet, but we're still looking.
All right, guys, welcome back. Now let me get this right. Jamesia Staudemeyer. Our lovely Jamesia Staudemeyer from Los Angeles. Thank you so much for being here, Jamesia. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Not a problem. It's an honor to be here, guys. This is Jamesia Staudemeyer, all the way from sunny Los Angeles, California, with your Entertainment 4 for 4. And today we're going to kick it off with a special Grammy event. Oprah Winfrey and Brad Pitt joined a Grammy special event called United We Sing. The Recording Academy hosts the annual Grammy event every year, and due to the pandemic, they are hosting an essential worker salute. So the event again is called United We Sing, a Grammy salute to the unsung heroes. They're going to be having special messages from Oprah Winfrey, Brad Pitt, Queen Latifah, even football, Drew Brees. And they're going to have live performances by Harry Connick Jr., virtual live performances from Harry Connick Jr., Jamie Foxx, Herbie Hancock, Tim McGraw, and more. You can catch this on CBS on June 21st. I definitely know that I will be tuning in. Number 2, Criminal Minds has a criminal case. The team behind the CBS series Criminal Minds is being sued for sexual harassment. The sexual harassment lawsuit was actually filed this past Tuesday in Los Angeles against the producers and the studio behind Criminal Minds. That would include a Walt Disney, a CBS signature, and our ABC signature, and CBS Studios. In the past, it kind of goes to describe about the past 14 years, director Gregory St. John has used his position of power to prey on crew members of CBS Criminal Minds. So recently it said 2 crew members, I believe, or 2 statements have been made coming out against him. However, in 2018, Variety had also stated that there was a case against him. So definitely, we hope everything turns out, justice is served, but that's number 2. Number 3, Twitter adds a new feature called Fact check warning. So, as we all know, our lovely President Donald J. Trump has actually been a victim, you may call it in his words, to getting this button on his post that were about the mail-in ballots being fraudulent. So Twitter actually, backstory, Twitter actually has launched this feature starting kind of back at the beginning of the year when the pandemic was just starting to roll out, more so for medical things that were being released on their platform, just to make sure that people could, have a link there they could go fact check. So as you all know, if you saw just as that picture posted, it says get the facts about. So as one professor kind of chimed in on it, it doesn't necessarily degrade what anyone says, but allows you to check the facts, and it honestly could, support what you say. However, our president did not like what Twitter did and is threatening and to say that, actually get rid of social media altogether, which I don't think he can do. I pray to God he can't do, because we definitely need it for platforms just like this. But he's saying that they're also interfering with the 2020 presidential election. So it's definitely, our president is up in arms. I think it's kind of a good thing. It gives you the opportunity for those that may not be aware of the facts being stated to have a link that you can go right there and find more information. So I like it, Twitter, but as Mark Zuckerberg said, they shouldn't be chiming in on fact or fiction. So number 4, ASCAP is going to go virtual for their award shows. ASCAP stands for American Society of Composers and Authors and Publisher, and they are a performing rights organization that represents several songwriters and publishers throughout the world. They're decided, due to the pandemic, they'll be hosting a 3-day virtual event for each of their award shows. So the 4 award shows that they actually host is pop, film, music, R&B and hip hop, and our last one, Latin. So just to kind of give you some dates when those will be taking, it's going to be pop June 17th to the 19th. Film will be June 23rd to the 25th. Follow the next month, July, there'll be Latin, July 7th through the 9th, and Rhythm and Blues and Hip Hop will be July 15th. And again, the ASCAP Awards honors today's top songwriters and publishers. So make sure you guys add that to your calendars and support the amazing musicians that are out there keeping us entertained, because I love a good song. Again, this is Jamesia Stedemeyer. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to follow me at THE_ENT_MOGUL. See you guys later. Back to you, Mellissa.
As always, Jamesia, so much for being here. Always a pleasure to have you. And guys, be sure to tune in here at Florida National News. If you haven't already, be sure to like us on Facebook. You can find us at Florida National News, at FNN News TV, or at FNN News Live. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube. You'll find us there at Florida National News as well. Be sure to click the little bell icon so you can get all the notifications for all of our shows, especially for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. That is our action-packed day of programming. So we'll kick it off tomorrow with Jenny Rosario de Casiano's Entertainment Buzz Live. She'll be interviewing Lorena Saria, who's the, of course, model and international actress. That'll happen at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be back with the evening news rundown at 5 p.m. And at 8 p.m., our lovely Casey Hudson will be back with the FNN Sports Take, so you don't want to miss a single minute of that. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. We look forward to getting your feedback as well from the audience questions as of right now. Have a great rest of your Thursday night. Take care.